Spyro, the little purple dragon, is a perfect game. It's a perfect franchise, and it's just amazing. Yes, some people don't like it, some people don't, but today we're going to be talking about Spyro and the video games and stuff that has to do with Crash Bandicoot. So let's talk about all of it, even a movie that was supposed to happen. Here's the intro. Spyro. What is Spyro? Spyro is a video game character that had numbers of games made about him. He was a fantastic character. Yes, some of the games were good and some of the games were bad, but today we are going to be looking at all of them, including the Game Boy games, but not talking about them. And in fact, to be honest, Spyro is a difficult thing to describe of who he is. He's a little purple dragon living in a universe that does not exist. Does that help? Because I don't know. Spyro the Dragon, from what I know, was a starting point of all of this. Like Crash Bandicoot 1, it was starting out and the basic controls were only starting out, and Insomniac did have to find out a lot about this for it to improve by the third game. But again, I've never played this, I've only played the demo. Don't have much to say. Spyro the Dragon is a game that I really never got to actually play until the Wii United trilogy came out. I played the demo of it, but I never really played the full game, so please note I don't know much about this game. But moving on. Spyro the Dragon came out in 1998, it did, and it was first released on the PlayStation 1, but later it was released on PlayStation Portable, and then finally it was released to the PlayStation 3, and yeah, you can play it on the PlayStation 2. From what I know, the big bad guy is Nasty Nork, who we will be seeing once more after this. Okay, so Spyro 2 Whipto's Wage, or apparently had two names to it, but let's just call it Whipto's Wage, came out in the 2nd of November 1999, approximately only 1 year after the first Spyro. Now, like the last one, it came out on PlayStation 1 and then also to PlayStation Portable, and then you can play it on PlayStation 2, but buy it again digitally only for PlayStation 3. So in this Spyro game, a lot of things have improved since the last one. Like for instance, the power is a bit more notable. They are. Everything else, the levels have changed their pace of how they were last time, and honestly, things have changed for the better for this one. This game actually has boss battles, approximately around about 3, and I think there must be a bonus one if you complete it. Now, you can get 100% and get some reward as of unlocking a secret world, but you must get 100%. So, now I have played Spyro 2, I will leave a playlist to when I did play it on Addy's Games. I think, to be honest, the game is good. It is. It has dated since for when it got released, but overall, many people to this day will still like this one. So now we are on to the final Spyro game that was created by Insomniac. So, Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon, was released back in the 20th of October 2000, the year that I was born. Now, this game, like the last one, was released to PlayStation 1, you can play on PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, and then you can buy it digitally only on the PlayStation 3. So, what this game is basically the story, as you know, has definitely been updated. That for this one, you are looking to find dragon eggs in the different worlds. Tons of new characters have been introduced, or we introduce, and also for good reason for when we talk about future Spyro games. This game for me is actually the Spyro that I quite like, as of it introduces new characters like the ones that you see on your screen, and also the boss battles have been improved since last time, upping from 4 to at least around about 8, including a bonus one, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I have definitely played Spyro 3, I honestly do enjoy it, so wherever you get, if you, I don't know, get some time one day, maybe try it out. So if you can't buy the original one, then buy the Reunited trilogy. So after Spyro 3, that was the end of the time that Insomniac had with the Little Purple Dragon. But now it was going to be passed on to another developer, to another publisher, and goes on and on and on. But now we look at this one. Many to say to be one of the worst Spyro games in its existence. It got washed, a lot of content got cut, and money bags only appears once in the game, and it's not even that long, and it's glitchy as hell. Today we're talking about Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. Spyro Enter the Dragonfly came out on the 5th of November 2002. Now, this came on the PlayStation 2 and then also the GameCube. Yes, the first Spyro game to come on the newer consoles at its time. Now, Spyro Enter the Dragonfly had a bit of a short story. Now, some of the characters that you do recognise are back. Like, for instance, Hunter is back. That other girl from that other Spyro game is back. And Whipto and his 2 other little friends. Wait, Whipto, did they die like this? Oh, that's right, yes. Starting from now, not just this game, but Whipto does return in another game. Despite that he died in Spyro 2, somehow he is back again. Now, in this game, what are you collecting? Well, you are collecting, as the title would say, dragonflies, and you must collect as many as you can to open up different portals. Now, when I say at the start of this it was glitchy, here's one of the glitches that was found in Enter the Dragonfly. So, yeah, weird, eh? So the thing is that this game did not need it to be washed whatsoever. They could take as long as they like with this, but apparently the studio who actually made this this is their first game, and they have no idea what they're doing. Now, many people will compare this to Crash the Wrath of Cortex, saying that that's bad, but unfortunately I quite like that one. That's not bad. This is bad for what I've seen and heard. Now, have I played this myself? I do not own a copy of it. I will never buy it. But I have played it when I was younger, and let's say my younger self got a bit annoyed with it. I wouldn't recommend buying this game, just skip it. Now, before we go on any further, the next console-based Spyro game is Spyro: A Hero's Tale. But you're probably wondering, why haven't I talked about the Game Boy games? Well, here's why. Because I haven't really played all of them. I've only basically played one of the Spyro Game Boy games, but I've heard of the most popular one to be the one that most people don't like, and it's Crash Bandicoot Purple and Spyro Orange. Now, I don't want to talk about them like we're doing with the console stuff, but I should let you know that they do exist. So, in trailer order, here are all of the Spyro Game Boy games, and I'm also including that Crash Bandicoot one, and including something a little bit extra of a Spyro appearance in another Crash Bandicoot game that was on the Game Boy.
are doing something they've never done before. They're switching worlds to take down evil. Play as Spyro and let the mighty dragon battle Crash's enemy, the evil Dr. Cortex. Or play as Crash and unleash the Bandicoot on Spyro's nemesis, the devious Ripto. Two huge games. Spyro Orange, Crash Bandicoot Purple. Rated E for everyone. Spyro, a hero's tale.
Okay, so now we've got that out of the way, Spyro, a hero's tale. Now, I like Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon, but this is at my #1 spot. But first, let's talk about the story. The story of this game is that basically a dragon called Wed, yes, that's his name, has come back apparently from the old times and has scattered his minions and bad people and dark gems throughout the world. Eggs are also back, but in this game you have 3 bosses. Knock is back to the first and final time in the Spyro canon timeline, including the second boss, which is a fish lady, I don't know, and then you got Wed. But when you defeat him the first time, the 4th time will be the final time, and after you defeat Wed the first time, you find out that the person who's been helping you along the way, this professor that you meet in Spyro 2, actually gets kidnapped by Wed. So you go and track them down, you do, and then eventually you do. Now, in this game, a lot of new stuff is introduced. Like, for instance, that there are levels that are completely different to the last one. And you could say this goes into the timeline of Crash to Insanity, but we'll talk about that later. And also, some of the characters that you may recognise come back, and for the first time, you're actually able to play as Hunter. Now, this is not the first time, but this time it feels better. You have more of a control, and one of the missions is to actually go and rescue Spyro, playing as Hunter. I would totally recommend you buy this game. And before I actually go on screen now, it should have the description of when this game came out, because I forgot to look at that before filming. And then also, from my knowledge, the game is out on Xbox, PlayStation 2 and also GameCube. Those are all of the ones that I know. But before we move on again, Spyro had a short appearance in Crash to Insanity, and basically, well, I'm going to play the scene for you right now.
Oh my, I almost forgot. The treasure!
Our treasure.
Yes, we are rich!
That treasure is stolen property.
It's a little late to develop a conscience, Doctor.
Personally, I don't care, but I think he might want his gems back.
So after this, there was about 2 more Game Boy games, which again we have already talked about, just to get them out of the way, because I don't think they're as important as these console games. But anyway, so this is when things started to go down for Spyro and the timeline started to get weird. This is when the Legend of Spyro started, and yes, we're going to talk about the 3 games that happened. Okay, so the Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning came out in October of 2006, and it came out to the consoles, to the PlayStation 2, the Nintendo DS, the Game Boy Advance and more. Now, like the title states, is a new beginning for a new world of the Spyro world. Now, only 2 familiar characters returning to this game, that's Spyro and Sparks. But what's the story? Well, the story in this game is not really simple to what I remember. From what I know is that at the beginning of this game, we're trying to find out who you really are. Now, it's obvious to the viewer that you're a little purple dragon, you are, but as every Spyro game has it, there are evil forces there are. Now, the evil forces of the big bad boss who this boss is in charge of is basically Cinder, and Cinder was to go on to be one of the best characters ever created of these games. Now at the end of the game you do end up facing Cinder, you do, as a boss. Well, not just once but also twice. But wait a minute, you find out that she's not a grown dragon adult. No, she's just a child stuck in a body, and something else has been charging her and giving her all of these powers. So you end up whisking her as the big bang boom goes ahead. And that's Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning. You can tell I haven't played these games in quite a while.
These are dangerous times for a dragon to be wandering about.
Okay, so now we are talking about The Legend of Spyro: The Eternal Night. So this came out on the 2nd of October 2007 to the PlayStation 2, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance. Now, this kind of goes off where we left off last time with the previous game, where now Cinder's now here, you've rescued her, but now she wants to leave and you want to stop her from leaving, so you need to find her, but there's been a voice in your head, and where the times where you've been blacking out and doing these trials to get new powers, at the end of this you find out, oh, it's a bad guy that's been doing this the whole time. Now after you defeat this bad guy, in fact I can't even remember what the ending is, so I'm going to show you the ending now, and then we'll move on to the final game of The Legend of Spyro.
I've seen this place before. The Well of Souls.
This is an evil place, Spyro. The celestial moons are counting down, and time is running out. The night of eternal darkness approaches.
Sometimes legend is forced upon us.
Something is happening, Sparks. I can't explain it.
A young dragon must face the ultimate evil.
Long have we waited. Long have we suffered. But soon, our master will return.
We gotta get out of here, now!
I know this is not the path you would choose for me. But I have to walk my own path and do what I know is right.
Clear your mind, Spyro, and release the firestorm within you. It is your destiny to harness the powers of the elements. The purple dragon can wield many abilities that others cannot, including time itself.
Elijah Wood as Spyro.
Get close to me, now!
Billy West as Sparks.
Ah! The nightmare never ends!
And Gary Oldman as Ignitus.
If the Dark Master escapes, a shadow will fall over the land. I'm afraid we might be too late. These are dangerous times for a dragon to be wandering about.
Tides of War. The Legend of Spyro: Dawn of the Dragon. Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
Okay, so The Legend of Spyro: Darkest Hour was going to be the final game to the Legend of Spyro series. This came out in 2008 to the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS and Java. So, in this you're actually able to play not just as Spyro but also Cinder, and also the character Hunter also makes a return, but he looks a bit different than before. Now, what your goal is to do in this game is to basically do certain tasks to learn about certain stuff, I have not played this game in quite a while, by the way. In fact, there's not really any point of me talking about this one if I don't have any knowledge of it. So here's a trailer instead of the game.
Even in the darkest of times, there is always hope.
Go. Tell Ignitus I have found them.
The Dark Master. He's returned, hasn't he?
I'm afraid so. Just shortly after your disappearance. These are dark times.
He needs to be stopped. I have to stop him. Oh no! We're too late!
Fire ancestors. What is that?
But we're not done there. The Legend of Spyro was going to have its own movie, but it never happened. From what I heard, it got cancelled. In fact, here's a clip from my Let's Talk Singing and Dancing episode where we talked about the Spyro movie. Starting off with the Legend of Spyro cancelled film. Now, we don't really know too much about this, but what we do know is that this will take place with the actual video game as of Legend of Spyro 3, and we know that Spyro and also Cinder will also be in it. Now, this will kind of be like the first actual video game Spyro movie, but from what I know, that the reason why it got cancelled was because, well, you know how Spyro is, copyright reasons and stuff. It's a bit weird, I would say, but yeah, but it was quite sad to see that got cancelled, because think about it, how would Spyro work in a Spyro film? I've heard about this a long time, and ever since I've ever wanted to talk about it in videos. So that was it for the Legend of Spyro, but it did not end there, as of something new started to come up in 2011, and that was Skylanders. Now, Skylanders was basically a group of characters that you can buy. Think of it kind of like Lego Dimensions and Disney Infinity, where you can basically buy the characters to continue, but you always get a starter pack. Now, even though we will be talking more Crash Bandicoot stuff at the end of this, let's look at the first and final Skylanders game, because I want to.
Only you can bring the Skylanders to life.
Quickly, for Skylanders, Spyro's Adventures was the first Skylanders game to be released. It got released to the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and etc. Now, the Skylanders games was kind of like a new light again for Spyro, well, not just for Spyro, but also for Cinder, as of these were the two characters that got reintroduced. And apparently for this one, and I only know this for this one or the other one, that Sparks was in one of the games. Now, for the times that I've played a Skylanders game, I have never seen Sparks in a Skylanders game. But what is like the main story of this? Well, considering this is the first one, this is more of an introduction area to what Skylanders are. These are basically heroes grouped up together to defend whatever evil forces that they may face. And one of the most popular ones, in fact the main one through every single Skylander game, TV show and video, is Master Eon, not Eon, sorry, this guy. I've forgotten his name. And that's who you'll be fighting in every single one. Let's move on. Skylanders Imaginators was the last Skylanders game that ever got released to the consoles. But it was the second Skylanders game that I've played, and I've played Skylanders Giants, but in this one it reintroduced Crash Bandicoot before the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy came out, which was all too fantastic. There was a Wumpa Island, that Spyro was also there, Dr. Nina Cortex was there.
What have I got?
Now you may notice, apart from the first one, that Spyro wasn't really that much a part of it. Yes, he is definitely the one who started all of this, but just a bit of a fun fact, kids, and if you ignore me or if you say, no he didn't, then you're wrong, you are. Skylanders did not create Spyro. Spyro did not come from Skylanders. In fact, Spyro really inspired Skylanders to be what it is today. So just wanted to clear that out of the way. And the same with Cinder, same with Crash Bandicoot, same with Dr. Neo Cortex, same with Aku Aku, and Aku I could go on forever. But that was the end for the Skylanders for now. So we didn't hear anything else. The fans have been wanting something new, like a new game or remaster or remake of one of the Spyro games, and do the same treatments like with what having Crash Bandicoot's having, transfer that over to Spyro. But one day this happened.
Peggy 7.
Bring him on! Yeah! You're toast!
Yes, the Spyro Reunited trilogy. Now, the Reunited trilogy is a game of more than 3 games available to actually buy right now on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. For me, this would be the first time that I would be playing Spyro 1. This is. Now, this is not a review, so I'm going to keep opinions and feelings down below. But if you know the story from Spyro 1, 2 and 3, then it's exactly the same here. But they have added some new cutscenes. There's a couple of new things that have been added through this that were not in there. Overall, Spyro the Reunited Trilogy is a beautiful game. It is. I bought it digitally because I was sick of waiting for it. But look, I know many of you will still like the classic ones. But honestly, there were many things that I did not realise in the first one. Like for instance, in one of the Spyro games for the old one, I did not know that there was a level where you could like bash into this, that there was like a crack thing to show that Spyro can crash into that. In the newer one, because everything's more updated, you see it more clearer, and unfortunately the original ones, they're not clear. They're not. Maybe that's why I never really completed any of them. But overall, if you look, I'm probably not going to go back to the originals ever again, because for me this is the best way to play Spyro the Reunited trilogy from 1 to 3. Honestly, it's amazing, it is, but I'm going to end up there. So that was all of the Spyro video games, but before we go, we do have a couple of things I want to talk about. But first, here is the times that Crash Bandicoot has had Spyro in his video games, as of a numbers of times, because it has happened. Like one example being Crash Twinsanity. Spyro was in that one. So here's some more examples of that.
Something they've never done before. They're switching worlds to take down evil. Play as Spyro and let the mighty dragon battle Crash's enemy, the evil Dr. Cortex. Or play as Crash and unleash the Bandicoot on Spyro's nemesis, the devious Ripto. 2 huge games. Spyro Orange, Crash Bandicoot Purple. Rated E for him.
Oh my, I almost forgot. The treasure.
Our treasure.
Yes, we are rich!
That treasure is stolen property.
It's a little late to develop a conscience, Doctor.
Personally, I don't care, but I think he might want his gems back.
So that's it. Now, if you're wondering what is next for Spyro, well, a couple of months ago rumours were spreading about the Reunited trilogy coming to the Switch, and then one day it just got confirmed, but we still haven't heard anything of it just yet, but I do believe it will come. Trust me, give it time after all. If Crash Bandicoot the Insane trilogy came to the Switch, why can't Spyro do it? Now, current day. There's a new Skylanders mobile game coming out next year which has nothing to do with the consoles, but because it's just a mobile game to seem to me like any other mobile game, it doesn't really matter so much. Also, PlayStation has pulled out of E3 and there will be no PlayStation experience this year. But there is rumours to say PlayStation experience will return next year. So, what's next for Spyro? Well, apart from Skylanders, we really don't know. We don't know if there'll be a new game, because Crash Bandicoot on the other hand has had more success than Spyro. But we're just going to have to wait and see, because for now, Medieval is on the list next. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've been playing Spyro the Reunited trilogy, I hope you've been enjoying it, and yeah, peace guys, see ya, and have a fantastic day. Something else is coming, by the way.